And another thing.
You see what I'm saying? So that's a real thing. Not to say that these people are not perfect. I know other religions like to push people up when they make them this to make them seem perfect. They are not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. It's just that they work every day to have the fruit of the Spirit. Here it is, Galatians chapter 5. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, meekness, faith. And the final one is temperance, which means self-control. Against such there is no law. You see what I'm saying? And that is what you have to. Once you come into that knowledge, then you say, okay, God, I know I have a problem with impulse, because that's what the word. That's what the psychologists called it for real. It's impulse control. It's impulse control. And that means if somebody says something to you, liable to just kirk out, flip out. You know what I mean? Especially if you get pushed. Now over here, anything goes over here. You liable to get anything.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
The difference between church folk. Fashionista comes in and she gasps because I'm in worse condition than I normally am. This is class day at school. The difference between church folk and saints. Do you see anything different, or can you add anything?
Church folks is a cliche. Like, it's not necessarily representation of Christ-like people.
That's right. It definitely is. But there is a distinction. You agree that there is a distinction between these people. Let's go to 2 Timothy. Between these, thank you, Lord. That's so awesome. This is good. I'm bringing these to make my mind. Thank you, Lord. Here it is. 2 Timothy. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. 2 Timothy 3. 2 Timothy 3 says this. This is right here. This is 2 Timothy. Thank you, Lord. Awesome God. It's all good. 2 Timothy 3. Look what it says. This is the character of church folks. This is what you don't want to become. This is what we hate to see. But if you don't build yourself up by reading His holy word, this is what you become. You become this right here. Here it is. And these are in the last days. Perilous times will come. Men will be lovers of their own selves. Ain't that the truth? Lovers of their own self. They stuck on themselves. Covetous. Covetous meaning they always want something that somebody else got. Here it is. I'll read them off real fast. They're boasters. Sound like church folk. Proud. Sound like church folk. Blasphemers. Disrespectful to God and to the people of God. Unthankful. Look, ungrateful made that list. Church folk are ungrateful. You see that? Not saints. I'm not talking about the true saints, the ones that actually are like Christ. But I'm talking about people who sit in the building and come regularly. These people who don't develop a relationship with God, this is what their character looks like. Here it is in 2 Timothy chapter 3. It says, without natural affection. First it says unthankful, unholy, carnal. See that? Just carnal. Nothing worse than a carnal Christian. When they be speaking in tongues and quicking and jerking, and then next thing you know, they got some other things going on. And they don't mind. And it's like, what? You know, did you really say that? I mean, make you clutch your pearls, and they think they're trying to get with you. You're like,
I had to clutch my pearls.
She said, what? You see? But they're okay with that, and they don't get no prick in their spirit. They just keep on moving, and they think that's cute. It's not. Here it is. Without natural affection. What do you think that means?
Men on men, women on women.
Say on. What does it mean on?
Right. Why can't they be with?
But, or with anything that's outside of God's natural order, because people are doing stuff with beasts and all that. Straight up. You see what I mean? But without natural affection, that's very serious. So that means there shouldn't be a first gentleman. There should be a pastor and a first gentleman.
Wait a minute.
What?
You're like a first lady?
Right up 214. You know what I'm saying? You got there are churches that are springing up where there's a man pastor and he has a first gentleman.
What?
and they're taking pictures, the church picture. Straight up, I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? That is real talk. And that's right up 214. And you got a woman pastor, and she got her lady right here. And they taking a church picture. And we're like, wow, you kidding me? And that's the website. And that's what's happening with our natural affection. God is not pleased. And no matter how you cut it and what year we're in, God is still not going to be pleased with unnatural affection. All right, so here it is. Truce breakers. You can't keep a promise, can't keep a secret, can't keep nothing. That's church folk. That's not Christian. You see what I mean? That's not like Christ. These people, they run their mouth. The stuff you tell them in confidence, they put it out in conference. Okay? Here it is.
What's the scripture again?
Say that again.
Timothy chapter 3.
How she said?
The stuff you tell them.
All right, here it is. Incontinent, can't hold nothing. Fierce.
Yeah, you.
Despisers of all that are good. Haters. Made the list.
You.
Thousands of years ago.
40.
That was nice.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Courtney
Here it
too tired to fight
But
back.
here it is. It's right there. Despisers of those that are good. That's the textbook definition of a hater. Of those that are good. Here it is. Traitors. The people who trade you. Heady. High-minded. You think you're all that because of what knowledge you have. Lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. That can go anywhere. You can from the internet to whatever. Let me just leave it alone because these people. We look at the world. We turn our nose up at the world.
Let me see
but God
Jet
He is going to make a dividing line between these people and these people. All right. Here it is. Having a form of godliness. Doesn't that sound like
Denying the
hypocrisy?
power thereof.
A form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. So you have the power in the word. You church folk know this Bible, so to speak, quote unquote. You have the power that's in the gospel and in the word. However, you don't use it. You deny it. I don't need it. It doesn't work for me. I still have urges. So the Bible must not work. No, as long as you're in flesh, you will have urges to do stuff you really know you shouldn't do. But you use restraint. That's Galatians chapter 5. You use self-control. You use temperance. Church folk don't do it. The Bible says very clearly, from such turn away. So that means you really shouldn't even have a whole lot of intimate dealings and bringing them into your personal sphere of influence. Well, they might be in your personal sphere of influence, but they shouldn't even be all in your intimate details of your life if you know they're not even trying to do better. You see, they're out here wilding. And they don't even care about your God. We can associate, we can be nice, we can evangelize, we can say, hey, how you doing? We can be courteous, but they shouldn't be somebody that you have brought in. And that you do you hear what I'm saying? Because there's a difference between friends and associates. We know that. They taught us that in middle school, right? Somebody taught you that a long time ago, that there's a difference between friends and associates. And then there are the strangers on the fringe. For real. All right? But here it is. This is the character of church folk. God is like, no, no, no. Here it is. Revelation. Go to Revelation chapter 3. Oh, yes. Where is it? Revelation chapter 3. Verse 15. It says, I know thy works. I know who you are. I know what you're doing for real, for real. This is God. Here's his dividing line. Here's him not just being the Prince of Peace. He says, I'm the Prince of Peace, but I'm actually bringing a sword. I am. I'm cutting some things back, and some people will be cut off. As wonderful as y'all know I am, he does have the power and the righteousness to back off of some people because they're not willing to obey. It says, I know thy works, that thou art neither hot nor cold. I would that thou wert cold or hot.
Nobody wants to know, are we in Revelation or Galatians?
Revelation.
Revelation 3.
So make sure she knows that. Here it is.
What verse?
Yeah.
I'm on Revelation
Chapter 3, verse 15.
Rev 3,
Okay.
15. 16 says this. So then, because thou art lukewarm, and neither, he says it again, and neither cold nor hot, I will spew you out of my mouth. I'll vomit you up. I'll have nothing to do with you. You were once in and now you out. That's what vomit is. You were in and now you out. Church folk. Some people who are church folk, they know they out and they're not trying to get in. Some people think they in and they acting like they in, but they really out. Because God is not, he don't have no time for no in-between gray area. Here it is, blurred lines. He don't have any time for it. He has no time. He has no time for it.
I'm gonna make that the theme for this one.
So even if God blesses you with everything that you desire, but your character is substandard, you coming down anyway. You're gonna be back to square one, needing a burning bush.
Many tekel farson.
Boom.
I remember that.
You remember that, right?
I remember that.
Well, that's a writing on the wall.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Many tekel ufarson. You have been weighed in the balance and found wanting.
Yep.
God is judging you, and you ain't nothing. You're lacking what you're supposed to have. So God's like, no. This is what it's supposed to be right here. And we've seen them come and go. This is what God requires. I mean, character. Okay, how about this? I'm gonna just walk into your church and shoot you while you preaching.
Chill.
Because you heard you're reading the news, right?
Because you slept with my wife.
Boom. And
Because of what?
Gangster.
Hold on, what happened?
Rape my wife.
So I'm gonna
What
come
the problem
into the
was?
church
Rape
because
the
your
wife.
character. Here it is. Your character. Here's a man who knows the story. Somebody please tell it, so I don't have to tell it.
Somebody tell me what happened.
What
In
happened?
Louisiana, and I'm gonna say New Orleans, but in Louisiana, Friday night, the man walked in and he shot one time from the door, then he shot him again when he got up close. Then he left, he threw the gun, called the police, don't know what he did. And then, I guess today I found out that it was because he supposedly raped the wife.
But she was texting him back and forth.
Yeah, so really it was a relationship, it was an affair.
So the police are trying to determine whether or not. See, here we go, church folk in the pew and in the pulpit. God says not today. So the man walks in, and you should see his mugshot. He like this. Like
He was a deacon too.
He was a deacon?
Then you hear what I'm saying? He got a gun suit on like
He
this.
tight.
Why the deacon got a gun? Why the deacon got a gun?
He got a gun. Same reason the bishop got a gun in the airport. I don't know. But people walking, he just walked the man preaching. And the Lord. The daughter says he shot at my daddy and missed him. And then came up to him, shot him, stood over him. Ran out through the side door, through the gun, and he said, I just shot somebody. Can y'all
I shot
I
the
just
preacher.
yeah, I just shot somebody. I need you. Where are you? I'm at the Tabernacle Baptist. Wherever they at. You know what I'm saying? So he killed him dead. Shot him down dead. In the pulpit.
While he was preaching.
While he preaching.
Gangster.
That's this week. That's
Send him
not
straight to
10
hell.
years ago. That's this week.
And the church was watching.
Do you hear what I'm saying? The lady at the door said, he got a gun! He got a gun! He got a gun! Bow!
How many times you gotta say he got a gun? How many times you gotta say he got a gun before you know it's up?
Because you
I done heard it one time.
you can't think that you're going to do stuff and get away with it. Judgment begins at the house of God.
Wow.
So this is a
Very
very
literally.
dangerous place to be. This is a very, even for young adults.
And I'll see y'all
This
next
is a
week.
very, do you hear what I'm saying? People are walking in. This man has no, just straight abandon. He's just like, and the daughter, something happened. He was with the daughter. He did something with the daughter too.
The preacher
Like
man?
the daughter and the wife. Something happened.
That's
So
a
I saw that
shot
today.
Yeah, that's a killable
So
offense.
the man said,
You done too much.
gonna kill him. So he shoots this man while he in the pulpit. So when he opened up, when the preacher opened up his eyes in eternity, where do you think he was?
Hell.
He didn't just go to hell. He went to Jim Ross's house.
What?
He ain't trying to repent that quick.
When he getting shot back?
Oh man.
Because he got, and that's the thing. We really don't know about anybody. We don't know about anybody but us.
True.
You know, all we really know about is us. But
hope he
it's
went
disturbed.
down.
But that's okay. We don't know about anybody but us.
So confused.
But and then,
Kind of hope he went to hell a little bit.
but more than likely,
Just be much.
what you do in the dark.
Be like, hey.
He went to Jim Ross's house.
Be careful what you're doing on that good Facebook and on that good Twitter and on that good
Facebook is nice and tight all the time.
It's dry.
It's
No,
a lot of people don't even go. A lot of people ain't even on there.
I don't think
You
it's
see what I'm
on
saying? Even a lot of our students
Like
like
Instagram.
Facebook it is Instagram right now. It is.
I don't do that no more.
But there's some
I
people,
don't.
even without the social media, there are some people at home at night looking at stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Watch this.
They check
Her
it
whole
out.
head. said,
You know, and they sending links, you know, and it's real. You see how that's going? Turning it down.
Chill.
You laughing.
Found.
But do you hear what I'm saying? Taking pictures in the shower.
Yeah, they be looking at the
On the phone, you do it too much.
It's real. You can't take pictures and then think nobody's gonna.
I'm not gonna notice.
You can't. You can't go to the bathroom and take a picture and then send it to somebody and think there are no repercussions.
They gonna put you on.
No.
I know somebody.
I'll say you sound like you got a
sent
story.
pictures to the wrong number at a time.
Woo! How you even do that?
No.
Who is that?
I know after the last class that I came to, and you were saying how, you know, whatever you do, the lights gonna come on. Oh my gosh. That very next day there was a video on the blog. Somebody doing some unmentionable things.
Are you serious?
It's called Mr. Obnoxious.
Oh, you wanna do that?
He is so scary.
He is. He's creepy.
Yeah, him. I think we was talking about him in this class.
We were
We
talking
were talking
about.
about him. Yeah, so that next day, somebody that I know
It was somebody.
Got on
you knew.
there. Was on there because
church people is not that. It's just like the club thing, you know.
it's unfortunate. And you don't think, and see, this is the thing. God says he's coming from a bride whose garments are without spot and without wrinkle. So if you have these little secret things, David didn't say, God cleanse me from secret faults. Cleanse me from presumptuous things. You see what I'm saying? I think I can just come up here and do whatever I want. You better be careful because the hammer is dropping. It really is. And we're seeing it in the news. The world is even marveling like, what in the world is going on in the church? Because you got pastors falling like stars, like rain. And then we have a man just going up and shooting. People will be, this type of stuff makes people
That
lose
go hard.
confidence in the church and in Christians. So then what the world does is they take these group of people and lump them over here with these group of people.
Y'all like that.
So then
That's what
we
Chauncey
have to work doubly hard to make a distinction without airing all the dirty laundry. You know what I'm saying?
We have service everywhere.
It's unfortunate. So this is what we need to do. So today, we gotta make a good time. Who knows the difference between ability and character?
Say it one more again.
Ability and character.
Ability is what you can do. Character is
What you did.
are.
What you do.
Doing and being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? The difference between
Potential
doing,
and kinetic.
straight up. This is what Abraham Lincoln says this. He's not actually. I'm not going. I'm gonna reserve it right now because there's a couple things I hear different quotes that people said. Doing and being is the difference because you can do stuff and it looks really good, but again, who you are when nobody's looking. And this world thinks that if you have a nice gift, that means you have good character. Is that true?
No.
No, because there are a lot of people with gifts. Apparently, this man had a gift to preach.
Him got shot.
He in the ground. Oh, he in the icebox right now in the morgue. And everybody has to look. And all the laundry, all the dirty laundry is out.
What do you even say at his funeral? I mean,
You can't. What do you say? That's a good question.
Here go him.
Here you
we all
go.
know what he did. We all know why he did. Amen.
But look
Barry.
at the wife and say, and that's it. You just point and say,
I'm sorry. We all know what he
well,
did.
you next. You better get it together. Because it's not just the people who doing it. Here it is, Romans chapter 1. Thank you, Lord. Go to Romans chapter 1. Last verse in Romans chapter 1. Oh man, it looks a whole lot like, actually if you go up a little bit, it looks a whole lot like 2 Timothy chapter 3. Backbiters, haters of God, despiteful, proud, boasters, inventors of evil things, disobedient to parents. Wow, he threw that one in there. Without understanding, covenant breakers, without natural affection. Here it is again. Implacable,
Romans
unmerciful.
chapter 1.
Here it is.
32.
Verse 32. I'm down at verse 32. Who knowing the judgment of God that they which commit such things are worthy of death, not only do the same, but these people in trouble too, right here. But those that have pleasure in them that do them. So if you hanging out with people doing it and you are making no effort to try to say, hey, let's not do this. Or, you know what, I don't think God's gonna be pleased with that. So not only the people who do wrong, but the people who have pleasure in the people doing wrong. They buddies. I didn't say it. It's right here. When I saw that, I said, I had to start thinking about the people I'm hanging out with. I'm like, oh man, I know she got some stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? How do I love her to the point to where I can tell her this and say, hey, this not right. Or, and the thing about this group of people here, the church folk people, because we're so used to hearing no, anything that would let them do what they want to do and still be able to function and be called or have the badge of a Christian is good with them. But those of us who may have friends right here, God says it is our responsibility, it's our obligation to at least tell them the truth. You can't make nobody do anything. You know that, right? Mm-hmm. We know that. And no amount of